before I moved out here, I came out here in September. My best friend from Kalispell, Montana, says, I'm going to show you Coeur d'Alene. And I said, what the heck's a Coeur d'Alene? Because I didn't know.
Spell that.
Yeah. And she goes, it's in Idaho. It's 3 hours from us and da-da-da-da. So we did a road trip. As soon as I got out of the car, I just knew in my heart that I wanted to be here.
That's how it happened for me.
Same story.
Different location, but
Weird.
same story.
So I believe that's God telling me this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I've never had something so powerful and so precise and so 100%. Everyone here has been amazingly nice. Everyone said, are you scared? Are you okay? And I said, I'm perfect. I feel great.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I actually moved here and I got out of the terminal of the airport and I got into my apartment, it just felt great. And I have not been sad once. I have not been scared once. No regrets.
All right, y'all. We're going to talk about racism in North Idaho. Is it a thing? Well, Dave and I sit down with our new friend, Truc, who just moved up here, and she breaks it all down for us. Also, what it's like for a transplant moving to North Idaho and how that went for her. Let's go. I have used my meat thermometer to register down to 37 in the river.
When would you ever cook meat at 37 degrees? I don't even know why it goes that low.
That's not the point. I don't know why it goes that low either, but
I'm just saying, I don't
really
think
well.
I don't think you're using the right tools. That's not.
I don't either.
Accurate. It's
I
accurate.
mean, why does a meat thermometer go down that?
I don't know.
Anyway.
No,
I don't want to eat
either.
the
I'm
meat.
going to move this closer to you, Truc. There you go.
So everybody can hear you.
Yeah, get her up in there because then you can get the nice voice.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry over it.
The podcast room, honestly, and Dave already said this, but it smells better than it's ever smelled before. It usually has a very masculine scent.
If we could turn this into like a scratch and sniff,
Yeah.
like people could know what it smells like in here right now. Truc wears the best perfume. Is it Senol?
Centel 33.
Centel 33.
Yes.
So,
but then I do a couple of other blends of my own.
You've got
thing.
custom blends?
I do my custom blend. So
It
it's
smells so good.
only me. So like no one smells like me, thank God.
I bathed in the river this morning, full disclosure. So there's that.
I was there too, just not
I soaked.
lake.
Yeah, like fully bathed in the river.
Every time I give Truc a hug, I come home always like, hang out with Truc. Like, yeah, I know. It smells so good. All right, do your thing.
We've got our friend Truc with us today. She is a recent transplant to North Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about what it's actually like to move here.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about, can we talk about, is racism a thing here?
Sure.
Yeah, because I think that's an important topic. That's a question we get a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a little bit of research this morning on the demographics of North Idaho, and it is like 85 to 90% white.
Yeah, huge concern for a lot of people that don't set into that demographic for sure.
Yeah, I've had that question a lot, and there's a history of racism up in the Hayden Lake area back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
So you know, when people get on the internet and they start Googling stuff, it's like, oh, it's right there.
It's like WebMDing something. Renee has, I'm going to say it right now so everybody knows, she's gross. I think she has shingles. So she was like, I have this bump on my neck. And I'm like, that's like a swollen lymph nodes. She's like, I also have this rash here in back of my neck. I'm like, I'm sleeping in the other room. Yes.
You sure it's not
That's
ringworm?
not shingles.
No, I think it's a viral infection.
It's a bummer, dude. That's no joke.
Well, for her, hopefully not for me. But anyways,
Does
point
it
being,
transfer
it's
like that?
I don't know if she wanted you to tell people.
Oh, no, that's okay.
She doesn't listen to this, so she won't even know. Yeah, it's okay.
Wait, I'll make her listen.
She'll listen to this one and be like, "Damn, you
Bob
guys."
will pull this part for." No, but you WebMD stuff like that. That's what I'm getting at. You get like a bump, and you're like WebMD, and like, oh my gosh, do I have cancer? Do I have a growth? So I think that's the same thing with North Idaho. Is people do they WebMD like, is it racist up there? And if you type that into a Google search, you're probably going to see some pretty interesting results.
Yeah, KKK is rampant.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't experience that. So, I mean, before I moved out here, I came out here in September. My best friend from Kalispell, Montana, says, I'm going to show you Coeur d'Alene. And I said, what the heck's a Coeur d'Alene? Because I didn't know.
Spell that.
Yeah. And she goes, it's in Idaho. It's 3 hours from us and da-da-da-da. So we did a road trip. As soon as I got out of the car, and we parked right next to Kraft on Sherman, and as soon as I got out of the car, I just knew in my heart that I wanted to be here.
That's how it happened for me.
Same story.
Different location, but
weird.
same story.
Such a comfort and everything. And I just looked at her and she goes, what? And she goes, oh my gosh, I know that face. And I said, this is where I'm going to go with just one visit. And then, so the rest of the year, last year, I came back a couple of times to get the lay of the land and where I wanted to go and everything. And so when I came out in December, I found my spot. But during the meantime, I did a lot of research. And I think I told you guys this. There were a lot of podcasts, I got to say, that I viewed. I started watching that one person. And so I liked him.
No names.
No names, I'm not going to say. But and I liked it. But then all of a sudden I noticed he started getting very judgy. Like, don't do this. Don't do that. If you move here, don't do that. And I'm like, okay. And then you guys popped up. And I'm like, And so I started watching you guys. And it was just more comfort to me. Yeah. And then also you guys were both from California, which I'm from too.
Yep, go ahead and scratch that, Bob.
Take that. And so, I mean, that made me also, watch you more to just learn. And you didn't only state about real estate, but you showed me some and educated me on the experience in Idaho. And it was just, you guys did some warnings and just some things like that. But then I also researched, a lot of my friends were all like, on the other side, we're all like, it's all white up there. It's called Idaho. And I
haven't heard that one before. Oh, Idaho.
Idaho. And I went, okay, and I'm not scared. Right. I love everybody. So it's like, and being a legal immigrant, I was just like, that's fine. And I've experienced prejudice even in California, and everything. And so I wasn't afraid at all. I felt very total comfort up here. And so when I moved here, Memorial Week, it was the happiest I've ever felt in my life.
I remember we hadn't even met you, Truc, and you were sending me, I'm like, man, I'm like, I don't know what's going to, is this go crazy? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
She was sending, it was the cutest thing. She sent me a photo from the airport of all her bags packed.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I'm on my way,
let's go.
I'm on my way, get ready.
Yeah. And then telling me like, I bought a one-way ticket. I'm like, oh, she coming.
No,
like,
I'm coming.
Committed.
Yeah, that was a one-way ticket. You're here.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So you moving up here, how long have you been here again? Remind me, about 6 months?
This weekend, it will be 5 months.
5 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember meeting you when you came into town, and you obviously moved up at the beautiful time, right?
It was hot, but yeah.
But I mean, you got to experience the season that a lot of people vacation here for. You excited for winter?
So excited.
Yeah?
Yes. Everyone's all like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm originally from Michigan. I was raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And so it's fine. I mean, I was just telling Seth today that I went running yesterday and it was 40 something degrees. And I didn't have earmuffs. Everything, I was dressed appropriately, but my ears got frozen. I went, oh my gosh, I'm dying,
Oh, wait till it's 20 degrees or 10.
So I'm going to buy earmuffs so that I can still run outside because I love this little trail right next to the Spokane River. It's completely beautifully. I mean, it's heaven on earth.
Yeah, that's a great spot.
Yeah.
She's committed to cold plunging with us this year
let's go.
at some point. So
yeah, and if you do watch us and you want to try cold plunging, Seth and I both cold plunge at different spots, different times. I'm at Hayden Lake and Honeysuckle Beach every morning between it'll get earlier and earlier, but usually I'd say between 5 and 6. And then Seth is down at Riverstone.
Yep.
And apparently bathing
7:15-ish.
Bring your soap.
Sometimes I bathe in there, full disclosure. Getting really hard, by the way, because when you soap your head and you have to submerge your head for a longer period of time to get the soap off, really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll do it when the water hits, 37-ish.
Yeah.
That's going to be real
just
rough.
here.
Yeah. I always dunk my head at least once while I'm in. That's you have to. But the holding under, it's going to get a little rough.
Well, we'll get Truc out there this year.
Yep.
Hey, before we ask you, I think there's a lot of people that, want to hear kind of how you've assimilated and everything else. So I got a lot of questions, but you said something I wanted to ask about first. You said you were a legal immigrant.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Where from?
Vietnam.
Really?
Yes. And so I was adopted.
Okay.
So my parents, they're no longer with us, unfortunately, but they adopted me or sponsored me through the Calvary Church.
Okay.
And then it became an adoption, and it's been heaven on earth with them too. They were the best parents I could ever ask for.
That's cool.
And so, I mean, they're the ones who brought God into my heart. in my life. And with him, I mean, with his guidance and everything, it's been amazing. I mean, I'm living the best life here. I've never been so happy living in Idaho. Who would funk it? You know, everybody's all like, Truc, I mean, gosh, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fabulous, you know, and everyone here has been amazingly nice.
Yeah, it's so
and
cool.
so kind and giving.
How old were you when you were adopted?
4.5.
Okay. Do you remember much?
You know what?
Prior?
I don't. It was a big deal. There were 11 of us in the family.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And so we were, I believe it was Time Magazine did like a whole story, I think in 1975 or 76, I can't recall. And they did a little snippet about the Vietnam War ending and everything. They did our family because we were one of the biggest groups.
Yeah.
And we all were in Michigan. And so that was interesting. And so, I mean, I got to tell you, I don't remember much.
Mm-hmm.
What I remember is going through Fort Chaffee in Arkansas and being there for about a couple of months just to get legalized, you know, paperwork, immuned and all that stuff. And then we flew into Grand Rapids Airport, which actually my dad was the original architect of.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Cool.
But all I remember is going through the terminal and holding the attendant's hand and bawling my eyes out because I didn't know what was going on.
That's huge for a little kid.
Yeah. And I don't know why it was only me. I don't recall my siblings behind me or anything or with me. And then I just see all these flashes when I exited the terminal because of the news crew.
Oh, wow.
It was such a big deal. And so I was freaking out. And then I see this blonde doll underneath like all the flashes. All the flashes. And I ran to the doll because I wanted it. And it just happened to be that was my mom.
No way.
And I have a picture. Yeah, I'm going to cry. And I have a picture of it. And she's holding me.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That was so cool. So
Yeah.
you went from Vietnam to Michigan to California and then here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
well, Michigan, Vietnam, Michigan, and then Texas for a couple of years, then to California. I moved to California when I was about 12 or 13 years old. Been there most of my life. And then moved to Laguna Beach and was there for 20 years.
Wow.
And so now I've moved here. And I lived in Utah 1 year in that span, but and then I moved here 5 months ago.
That is so cool.
And you're conservative, right?
I am conservative.
So you're a conservative person moving from California. That's wow.
Outliner. Yeah.
Was it? I mean, I know my path. You know, I grew up on the East Coast. My family is all very liberal, all of them pretty much, except one brother. And you know, I didn't really make that switch until I got into law enforcement. I didn't really pay attention to politics.
Me either.
Once I got into law enforcement and I actually started seeing, I feel like it's like
How
the
long
Matrix.
ago was that?
2007.
Okay.
Like, I can't remember. Is it the red pill he swallows in the Matrix where he like opens his eyes?
I can't remember.
Whatever pills. Like that happened really quickly once I got into law enforcement and I started seeing humanity, like really seeing humanity and understanding and realizing how politics can play a part in what's going on at the ground level. You know what I mean? When I see, you know, these drug dealers getting Obama phones and they're driving an Escalade and they got a big screen TV and they don't work. And I'm like, okay.
It changes you for sure.
I see what's going on here.
Well, especially when you go through everything. I mean, I will say that I think I would believe that the majority of people that get into law enforcement, fire department, military, teaching, like those type of professions, people have a heart for other people. They want to, you know, when I got into law enforcement, I'm like, man, I want to do good for a community. I want to serve, right? I want to stop bad things from happening. I want to protect people. I want to keep things clean. And then when you feel like you're doing that job and you do it correctly, and then you see that there's no repercussions or something else, you start looking into things like, what hold on, like, where did this law come from? Where we're like, who's putting this in place that I mean, there's both sides of the coin. It doesn't matter where you live, but like, how did this come about?
Yeah.
That this person did all this stuff and now there's no consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't change.
For me, it was like, I'm like in the ghetto dealing with a car crash and I got 15 dudes on porches that have iPhones and Escalades. And I'm like, it's fucking midday. Y'all ain't got jobs.
Yeah.
but you're living just fine. You got all the stuff I got.
Not weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
That started to piss me.
And
you
that's Cali though too.
True.
You got to understand
that is California.
But yeah, I mean, when I moved out here, everybody was amazed I was conservative.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, why? But they were. And so they asked us, when did you become conservative? Have you always been that way? Was it from your parents? And I said, truthfully, no. I go, actually, it was during the reign of Obama. I started really paying attention and I felt the division at that time.
Yeah.
And if you really Google it, starting at that time, racism, the word is used so much.
That's when it started.
It did.
I remember.
And that's when the division started. And I was just like, this can't happen, And so then that's where I started concentrating more and more into the politics and what I was starting to believe.
Right.
And now, I mean, gosh, I'm in it. I mean, I'm in the hole, unfortunately.
So as a,
I watch it every day. It's
yeah.
like, oh my gosh. I just voted Tuesday. Go vote.
Yes.
Please.
I know. I think I'm going to do the early voting this year. I have a thing where I like to go on the 5th.
Yeah.
I know.
Like you go in there and it's like,
already,
yeah,
though.
this is cool. But and then I'm going for steaks over with Christina and Lee Watkins at their new place.
Oh, nice.
That night I was like, we'll probably be drinking either way because it's going to be.
That's cool. I didn't get the invite.
And then what?
I love steak.
Oh, too bad. They worked with me.
Bummer.
Yeah.
So I was happy because she said there's a long line on the early voting, and that's a good sign,
Yeah.
right?
I think there's too many people. I think this is why we're where we are. Is there's too many people that have become comfortable with life, especially North Idaho, right? We're vulnerable up here because everybody's comfortable.
Yeah.
Like politics are good. Life is good up here. But man, if you don't continue to just take the hour out of your day and go vote, things will change.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole other political side that recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very emotionally charged side where, and like I said, when you look at red and blue, just how it is, liberal ideology is very emotional. Right? It's very emotional. It's like, hey, this poor person, because they were a different race or ethnicity or whatever, this poor thing happened. This poor person, even though they were a drug dealer, they had this, there's like all this stuff that pushes this emotional, like, take care of people. It's an immigrant. Well, they're here illegally and they're also dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some things you have to
Yeah.
recognize. And then the conservative side, the red side, is more like, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Well, that leave me alone, let me do my own thing translates to I'm also not going to the polls. I'm also not voting. And it's biting us in the ass.
Yes.
Because until people get up and go to the polls,
yes,
we're vulnerable up here.
I think it's changing. I think there is now more of an emotional component for the conservative side, right? Because people are afraid, and rightly so.
I'm frightened.
Yeah, the Constitution's under attack. Our way of life is literally under attack.
First Amendment.
So I think people are finally waking up, and that gives me hope that there's lines for early voting. Like, okay, maybe people are taking it seriously now and understanding.
Well, what did they say in World War II to Japan? You woke the sleeping giant, right?
Yeah.
That attack on Pearl Harbor became an emotional response that led us into World War II. All of a sudden, kids are 16 faking that they're 18 so they can go and they can fight.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like people signed up. Kids, there's so many stories of kids that were underage signing up in the military, faking their date of birth so that they could go fight. It became an emotional response. And I think you're right. Yeah. I think right now there's a lot of people on the conservative side that are like, I'm getting emotional, and it's bringing people out.
Well, I want to not say emotional because I think that's where we are right now, why there's such a division. People are choosing by emotions, and they're reacting on their emotions versus common sense.
That is very true.
And I think common sense is out the window right now, and we need to bring it back because that's what's going to make our country great again.
Well said.
So, I mean, the hatred for one person is overruling common sense. And I just don't even understand that. That's not who we are as a country. We need to make our country great and have people not fear us, but really look up to us because we were great. Mm-hmm. We're not anymore. I mean, look at all the wars right now. It's so scary. Yeah. And I don't have a family. I don't have anything like that. It's just me, but I'm scared. Yeah. For our future. So that's why.
No, for sure. That is absolutely, like I said, I fully agree with you. And it is. Common sense is kind of not a thing.
Yeah. I think you touched on it at the beginning when you said the quality of life that you were given by coming to the U.S. and, having great parents.
Yes. and the opportunity and growing. I mean,
right.
I've been on my own since I was 17 years old in California, and I've made it. And I got to tell you, moving here, was a relief because I could not buy a place in California. I couldn't start retiring in California. And so I really wanted to look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I researched a couple of states. And when, like I said, when my best friend brought me here, I was just like, this is where I want to be. And also I didn't mind the winters more than humidity.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another thing. But like I said, I did a lot of research through and going back with the prejudice stuff and all that. Yeah, I researched it, but that was years ago. That's not current anymore. And like I said, being here, everyone has been so kind and so giving. And when they find out I'm by myself, because I go out, to a restaurant by myself or something like that, everyone just welcomes me into their circle.
That is so cool.
Talking to me, and I feel so loved and welcomed. And my money does go much further here. I mean, I can't even tell you. So I'll be ready to buy next year.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So coming to town, have you been able to get connected and meet people?
Yeah.
Like you create a cool group of friends, everything else? That is so cool.
What is the key to that? Because that is another question people ask. Like, they're like, hey, like, how am I going to meet people? What do you do?
It's also a personality thing.
You're not shy.
I am not.
That's
I'm
true.
not. I will talk to everybody. And
if you want to get connected, come meet Truc. We'll give you her number. She will help you out.
I'll become the mayorette. I guarantee you. No, I mean, just that. I mean, just going by myself, and I sit at a bar, and I'll eat. I only like sitting at the bar because that's where I think you can socialize. Mm-hmm. And so I get to know either the owner of the restaurant or the bar manager, and then I feel safe. Another thing, because I'm by myself.
Yep.
And then I just go frequently, and then I just meet the most wonderful people sitting at the bar and then talking to everybody and getting to know them. And then eventually I ask for, they ask for my number, I ask for theirs, and I just stay in touch.
That's
like I was just telling Seth this morning, I text everyone I knew here and says I was going to be on this podcast and just please subscribe and support.
That's awesome.
And they're all like,
that is
yeah.
so cool.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. You just got here. How the hell did you get on the podcast already? And I sent it all to my friends in California and my family and everything. And so, but it's just, I think you have to just not be shy.
Yeah.
It helps, especially if you're by yourself and single. I mean, if you have your family, okay. But I have a couple of friends that moved here also a couple of years ago from California, but they have families and they're social. And so they love their little cul-de-sac. Mm-hmm. They love their neighbors and they love it here too. So it's not just me.
Yeah, I think it requires getting a little bit out of your comfort zone. If you're new to the area and you're like trying to figure it out. Yeah. I know church is a big one for people. That's a great way to connect, and activities, sports or whatever, the gym or whatever it is.
Everywhere you go.
Yeah, and you're right. Almost everybody you talk to here is, even the scary looking dudes at the gym that are like enormous and they're like bearded, and you go talk to them and they're like the nicest.
They like take their headphones off. Like, what's up, man?
Yeah. Everyone is so nice. They don't bite. They don't get angry. Nothing. Just do your thing.
Yeah.
So
that's so cool.
And I say hi to everybody when I'm on my running trail.
Yeah.
Hi. Good morning. And then
people have been saying that. They're like, man, I went hiking and people were saying hi to me. I think this is a struggle. No, this is a huge struggle for people moving here. Yeah. You come from California where it's almost like you have like a little bit of, you walk past people and you're like, people don't socialize. I've been to certain areas and demographics like that where literally, you can go into an elevator and nobody's going to say a single thing. But you experienced that with me in the elevator recently, huh? Yeah. We got into an elevator in Vegas. We were down there for a conference. And I immediately am like, hey, this is not a library, people. I'm like, he makes it awkward. We're not going to sit here, and be quiet. We got to, come on.
That is you.
I think people that come up here, they feel like, is it appropriate to talk to people? Yes. If you're moving to North Idaho and you see us, you see Truc, you see somebody else, like, come say hi.
We'll say hi.
Yeah. If you don't, we'll make it weird. Yeah. So let's go. We're huggers up here too. But I think just being able to walk outside and know that you may not know anybody, but to be able to sit there and have a conversation with somebody or say hi, and it's not putting them out. It's not, taking them away from their day. People want to socialize and want to be part of it. Is super cool.
Yeah. And taking that extra step, like you said, like exchanging phone numbers. Yeah. That's how I do everything. Easy. I meet people constantly. I meet people for this podcast. That I met a dude in the sauna. He's coming on next week at the gym. And, we
questionable.
Yeah, whatever.
And, what's the topic? Sauna bathing?
No. So we're going to.
Did you have soap in there? Oh,
He's got a great story.
so gross.
And I didn't find. So I met him in the sauna briefly. We bullshitted for a minute, exchanged phone numbers, and then I went out to coffee with him. That's the next step, right? You go out, you get coffee, get one-on-one with somebody, and like learn about their life story.
Yeah.
So I get his whole life story, and I'm like, holy shit, like he's like super inspirational. Bad kid, did time in prison, got out, found God, got into bodybuilding, like built this business of gyms
awesome.
and nutrition, and I'm like, huh. Freaking cool ass story. And he's like, dude, I'm super passionate about mentoring, young men to stay out of trouble and find their path.
That is
freaking
cool.
rad. That all started from a conversation in a sauna.
Yeah.
Two dudes sweating together.
Yeah. And it's also another thing too that I searched and just find pages like on Facebook or Instagram, and I subscribe to it, and it's local stuff. So I have North Idaho Foodies is one of my favorite posters. And they just talk about, I'm a foodie, so they talk about restaurants and what they're serving and stuff like that. And so you can search for, posts or pages that you're interested in.
Yep.
And it's up here in Idaho, and it's awesome. And then they actually reply to you when you ask something. Some post people don't.
Yeah.
But they do.
You know what Truc likes? Prime rib.
Do you?
I love prime.
Where's the best prime rib?
Every time I see prime rib, I'm like, Truc, hey, they're serving prime rib here.
So I got to tell you, I haven't found the best, but I got to say Texas Roadhouse for some reason for the price point, they make it perfect every time for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I've gone to Cedars for the price point.
Okay.
I've gone to Beverly. I mean, not Beverly's. Where else did I go?
Dockside. Oh, no. You went to...
I went to your golf place.
Yes. The golf cart didn't work out, huh? Hey, that was an advertisement. I saw prime rib. I sent it to Truc.
I appreciate it. So it's just, but right now Texas Roadhouse is
okay.
Top
notch. Good to know. I've never eaten there here in North Idaho.
You haven't?
Not the one here.
Oh man,
it's legit for the price point.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Exhausting?
Yeah, going to Texas
Not
Roadhouse
if you sit at
exhausting.
the bar.
They're so into serving you.
Oh,
it's almost like
they're
Don't tell them it's your birthday.
Yes, don't tell them it's your birthday.
Happy birthday. No.
No, thank you.
Okay, cool. So what else? When you moved up here, what was other than people being nice?
Yes.
What was the biggest glaring difference for you when you moved up here?
Yeah. How do you put your finger on it? Because you said you got out of your car and you were like, you knew.
Yeah.
Why? What is it?
I think it's also, you just feel it in your bones. I mean, I think when you make such a drastic move, you have to be 110% emotionally, physically, and mentally. 100% into it, that you're going to do this, right? So when I left and I got out of the car the first time and I was in CDA, I just felt it. I just went, this is where I need to be. So I believe that's God telling me this is where I need to be, to tell you the truth. I've never had something so powerful and so precise and so 100%, no doubt.
Yep.
And so when I was months and months researching and everything. And the week I was ready to move, everyone said, are you scared? Are you okay? And I said, I'm perfect. I feel great. And so when I actually moved here and I got out of the, terminal of the airport and I got into my apartment, it just felt great. And I have not been sad once. I have not been scared once. No regrets.
That is so cool.
So I think it's just an emotional thing in your bones that you just feel that this is the place for you.
Yeah.
But I just knew it.
I think that's neat coming from you because you have lived in multiple places around the country, obviously from a different country as well. But being able to go multiple places and to come here and say that, and then to follow up with the fact that you've been here and it's still feeling good. It's not like, oh shoot, I made a mistake or it wasn't what I thought. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. And everybody saw like, well, it's only been a few months. Wait till you get in the winter. I'm like, yeah. And I think it's also your mindset. I think if you're already positive about life and you're happy about life, you'll make a home anywhere. But living here in Idaho, it's above that for me. I mean, I think it's also brought me closer to God, to tell you the truth. I feel so blessed and grateful every day. I literally wake up and I feel like I'm in like in a Disney cartoon because I'm waking up going, and I'm singing, and the birds are chirping and everything like that, even though they're not. But
it'll be eagles soon.
It just feels that way to me every day here. So I don't know I got to tell you, I think it's a spiritual thing for me.
Yeah, cool. My experience was very similar. We came here like on a whim. We were kind of looking for somewhere else to move, and this wasn't even on the radar. And a friend of a friend was like, you got to check it out. So we show up here in September years ago. Me too. And it was still nice out. Yeah. And I walked out on the city beach right by the resort, and, it was early in the morning and the sun was coming up, and it's just like, holy shit. Like, it was a spiritual moment. Right. And I knew immediately. So
you felt it too.
I did. I can't put my finger on what it was.
You just feel it.
But I was like, this is it.
Cue the bench video.
Yeah, I was right by the bench.
There's nobody sleeping on the bench.
Nobody on there. No tents.
Yeah.
It was like, this is it. And it was 100%. And then I looked at my wife and she's like, yeah. And the kids were on board for whatever. Of course, they're adventurous. And with 3 months later, we were living here. We had sold everything and moved here. It was that fast.
I also feel, I think safety was important to me. So it was the things I searched for was I wanted a red state. And then I wanted, a spiritual state. And then I wanted safety, obviously. And then just economically, something, worthwhile on that. And listening to your posts, before I moved out here, you guys kept on saying safety is great because I'm by myself.
Right.
I'm a single person. I want to make sure I'm okay, and I'm not going to walk down the street and get crazy, or anything. And so I feel that. I feel 110% safe here and welcomed.
Sorry, I'm immediately thinking of the post you sent me the other day. I'll say about it in a minute. You feel welcome.
Yeah. So, I think safety is a big thing too, especially if you're, even if you have a family, but if you're moving here by yourself, it's great. There's no doubt about that at all.
Yeah. I think I probably on a subconscious level realized that, just being a former cop. And at that time I was like getting out of law enforcement. So I was very tuned into, it's like a cop sense. You can't quite put a finger on what it is, but while you're walking around, you're like, yeah, this looks okay. Right. Right. I'm not seeing any gang members. I'm not seeing a bunch of crazy homeless people screaming and yelling. Like all of those indicators, they're just not here. So I think, on a subconscious level, I was recognizing that at the same time. And this is a good place to raise my kids.
So
what do you got?
Speaking of safety, because obviously we still have crime up here, right? We still have some people who do some bad things. So Truc sends me this the other day. Did you see this?
Oh, yeah.
It says child predator outruns law enforcement in Kelso Lake, Idaho. Community urged to report sightings immediately to 911. And it's got pictures of them on here. And then it continues to say, this is so North Idaho. Christian Fisher, for your own safety, turn yourself in before a local father finds you and in self-defense puts an end to the search.
It said that on the post?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it was posted everywhere.
That's freaking rad.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're a child predator. There's going to be somebody up here that doesn't give a shit. And they're going to freaking handle it because it's just not a way of life. Sorry. It's not something that we're going to approve of. And
common sense.
So that was pretty funny when you sent that to me. So anyways, yes, it is. And I feel like it's very safe up here. My kids, when we moved up here, they asked one day, they're like, hey, could we walk down to the gas station? And in California, it's like, you say that and I'm going to slap you just for even thinking about it.
Right.
Up here, we're like, yeah, go walk to the lowly gas station on the corner and get yourself some candy and walk home, be home before dark, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
And you had no issues about it.
Right.
Wasn't worried about it.
No.
The way it used to be.
It's a throwback. Right. 100%. My kids used to walk around downtown when we lived downtown all the time. Yeah. And they were youngish at the time. I never worried about it at all.
That's why I love that post. I totally support it. Did you screw with kids in this freaking community and you are done?
Yeah.
100%. Law enforcement doesn't have enough to do up here anyways, other than small things, right? So when you have a major criminal or somebody that's doing something to hurt kids, it's freaking all hands on deck. Like, they will find you.
Yeah. And it's here, obviously. I actually, full disclosure, I found a baggie of meth on the ground one morning when I was walking.
Did you really? Look like?
I did. It's like little crystally shards.
How'd you know?
Kind of like some white powder. What?
How'd you know?
Based on my training and experience, brother. I've dealt with a lot of meth.
Based on my training and experience. Yeah, okay. You've written a report.
So it was actually a pretty sizable bag. And I was like, ooh. So being the good citizen that I am, I know better than to give it to the police department because then some poor cop's going to have to book it in the freaking evidence, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I threw it in the trash. I got rid of it. But
dang, you should have dropped it in the turtle cage and crafted. Watch those guys during turtle races. Whoa.
But I was really surprised, first of all, because it was like right on the main where I walk every morning.
Yeah.
Walked. And then later that day, I saw this one dude, and I was like, he was looking for his baggie.
That was him.
And I was like, that's the guy. And he's so pissed because he lost his baggie. I shouldn't tell this story because it doesn't make it sound safe.
Whatever. You should have walked up to him. Hey, what you looking for, bro?
It was such a rare occurrence up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right on 3rd Street, downtown.
Yeah.
And it's a main thoroughfare.
Well, dude, there's people that bring drugs here.
Sure, it exists. But the beauty of it here is like you get caught with that,
you're done.
You're done.
You get caught with marijuana and you're done.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you go to jail for marijuana.
California, I remember the first time when methamphetamine was decriminalized and I had to write somebody a ticket for it. You take the meth, but you don't take them to jail. And I was like, it bugged me so bad because I spent a lot of my career like just going after people for meth. And to have that experience that time in California, I was like, this is it. Like, what am I even doing anymore?
Yep. You remember I brought this up, the normalization of deviance?
Yes.
I still need to sit down and watch it. There's a video called The Normalization of Deviance. And the guy says the normalization of deviance leads to predictable surprises. If you deviate from the norm and you start making it normal for somebody to have meth, to have needles, to be able to commit crimes, if you normalize that deviant behavior, there are predictable surprises that are going to happen. You're going to have increased crime. You're going to have deaths. You're going to have more drug addicts. You're going to have those things happen if you deviate from the norm and you allow that stuff to happen.
Yeah.
See, and I heard something different. I mean, a few years ago, because like in Europe, I mean, they allow kids young to drink and they allow drugs, certain, back in the day. And they stated that if you allowed a little bit, actually, it decreases. You're going to, and so I was like, really? And so
that's what Oregon's trying.
There are studies on that. I know like Amsterdam and the alcohol thing. I'm torn on that too, right? I'll let my kids take sips of whatever I'm drinking.
Wine or something.
Yeah, because I think it takes the mystery away a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I think,
but that's a controlled environment with a parent.
Right. Yes. Now, but if you're allowing hard drugs, I don't know. I haven't been to Amsterdam. I imagine it's kind of shitty with homeless people downtown, I would guess.
There's not a lot of people moving there.
I'm guessing. Right. So I think, maybe I don't know. I think that's going to be a failed experiment over time.
Well, because here's the thing. You start to lose a grasp on morality when you do that. Even when you start to if you tell your kids.
Look at Philadelphia.
Yeah. Well, if you start to say, hey, you know what? We're going to let you drink so you don't have that desire. Well, where does it stop? Well, we're going to let you look at porn so that you don't have that desire. Oh, we're going to let you sleep with somebody so you don't have that desire. Like, where does it stop?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that we've lost that ability to draw a line and say, hey, good, bad, okay, not okay. And you need to make the decision. If you cross the line, at least we know you've made a bad decision. Like you've violated it. And so it's hard.
So let me pose a question to you.
Let's hear it.
Because I am torn on this. I don't have an answer. Say, what if that crosses the line into soda?
Sure.
Something like that. We all know it's bad for you, right? If someone, are you okay if someone tells you, no, you can't drink soda?
So that's what I was talking about. There has to be a line, right? The problem is that we ever shift to that line. Now, if it's not soda, then fine, it's not soda. But there's some of that with, I'm not for government regulation. I'll tell you that.
Right.
At all. But there's also some things where it's like, all right, what is there a risk for this? Yeah. You know how many people die from drunk drivers every year?
Oh boy, a lot.
Nick, one of our really good DUI cops, I remember I wasn't into DUIs. I'm like, this is stupid. I don't want to have to deal with DUIs. I want to go get the hardened criminals. And then he posed a question to the group and he's like, how many of you have dealt with a gang member that's killed a family of 5? Nobody can raise their hands.
Right.
He's like, how many of you have dealt with a drunk driver that killed a family of 5? Oh shit. That puts it into perspective. I don't see that happening with soda. So that's why I'm saying there is a point where you go, okay, well, what is the risk of somebody using this or doing these things? Is there a risk? And then you weigh that. I mean, it's hard. There's still a gray area for sure.
I'll deepen this conversation a little bit because
if
you look long term, you know what I mean? People drinking soda, eating bad, like it is creating a health epidemic and killing more people than anything else out there, right?
Yep.
So that would be the argument. I'm not saying I'm for government regulations.
Right.
But it's a nuanced conversation is all I'm getting at. I don't have the answer to it. I don't know. When I look at things like alcohol or even marijuana, like I don't have a morality issue, even though I grew up in the war on drugs era and, marijuana is terrible. Like, I don't really care if people smoke weed, like doesn't bug me at all.
Right.
But then in my own mind, I do have a morality issue with methamphetamine, heroin. I don't know
100%.
why I have that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a lot of unknowns.
Well, it's a little bit more intense. That's why. I mean, it's a drug that's a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
And it makes you all wiry. And
I guess
like
I've seen a lot of bad things come from those.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have not seen a lot of bad things come from, like, marijuana example. I have seen a lot of bad things come from alcohol. So this is where it becomes a very nuanced topic that I.
Well, you weigh those, like I said, you weigh those risks. You know, like our kids, I don't like them drinking soda. I tell them every time, like, this stuff is trash. I drink it sometime too. It's trash, dude. I mean, we just talked about this podcast, right? Like, people that are sick are where the government and where pharmaceuticals make money.
Yeah.
They don't want a healthy person or a dead person. There's no money there. So I tell my kids, but the thing is, when I weigh it, well, if my kid drinks soda, look, he's going to leave in 2 years. And even right now, he can go buy soda. It's so common.
You're right.
But I know that if he drinks alcohol, if he had that in his car, he could end up in jail. It could change his entire trajectory of his life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for me, like, I draw that line. I'm like, all right, dude, meth, drugs, all this stuff. It's like, man,
it's just not
probably not worth it.
Laziness.
Yeah. My dad, growing up, my dad was always like, you know, whatever you do it in moderation. I was like, okay.
That's what I say too.
I don't know if you can do heroin or meth in moderation though, honestly, but maybe somebody out there, maybe.
I mean, my friends are all like, you know, some of them are like all into this organic stuff, and I mean, no GMOs, and great for them, you know. But
that's
at
crazy.
the same time, I try to eat healthy, but at this time, I like to have a pizza, or I would like to have a soda, you know. And it's just, again, moderation and you knowing your body and everything. So, like, being up here, I gotta tell you, I like McDonald's, so I love their hamburgers.
Oh, you and Renee should go get some food.
Well,
that's where she got shingles from. That's from McDonald's.
I didn't realize. I didn't realize you treated your temple like that.
I mean, you know, but then I go for a run after, you know, it's just, so it's once in a while, I guess you just treat yourself. And I think it's also a mental state being up here. As long as you're happy, if you are really, truly happy inside and mentally and emotionally, you're fine. You're going to be okay.
Oh, for sure.
And, you know, you're obviously a healthy person. So if you were like 350 pounds and you're like, yeah, I love McDonald's, I might be like, maybe you shouldn't.
It's not working.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, if you.
I've lost 7 pounds being up here, just so you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that because you're just able to be more active, or what do you think?
Because I live in Riverstone around there. And so I go running at the Sentinel Trail right next to the Spokane River. And it makes me so happy. Mm-hmm. So it makes me do it more. Yeah. And I feel so energized. So I get to work remotely. Thank goodness. I have an amazing career.
Awesome.
In the home building industry. And so, I go running 4 times a week.
Wow.
Since I've been here, and I've lost 7 pounds.
I think I gained your 7 pounds this week.
In Boise.
We got to talk about that later.
Don't get me started. Okay. So we need to go through your winter checklist. Truc.
Oh,
all right.
shit.
Yes. Winter checklist. All right. So
are you ready?
The first thing, obviously, if you're saying, what kind of car do you drive?
I just got a Bronco Sport.
Oh, that's right.
I love it.
So all-wheel drive, which is great.
Yes. All-wheel drive.
What kind of tires are on it? Are they regular, like road tires, or?
All weather.
Okay.
Those
might be fine.
I think those will be fine. Yeah.
I would test it out the first year. You definitely want to be in at least, you know, auto or all-wheel drive or something. But I will say, if you know, I drove for 5 years up here. I drove a Ford Fusion hybrid 2-wheel drive. As long as it's front-wheel drive and you have snow tires on it, holy smokes, I've never been stuck.
Yeah,
those snow tires are amazing. I got a truck this year, and I have all terrains on it, or not all terrains, all weather. So I'm gonna not put anything on it this year and try it out.
You're gonna be good.
I hope so.
And then also, you guys understand, I live in Riverstone, which is so close to everything.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drive as much in the wintertime. I don't drive much now because I work remotely. So I don't have to really go anywhere. And then if I go into town, if I'm going to drink, I Uber or Lyft, you know, so it's like.
Smart.
I will tell you a thing about California drivers up here in the winter. They're the safest drivers. They are scared shitless. They drive
what everybody
slow.
says.
Not in the winter, I'm saying. They drive slow. When I got rear-ended last year, I get out, I'm like, really? And Idaho native, she's like, I have 4-wheel drive. I go, it doesn't help you stop. It helps you go. Okay. Anyways.
Classic.
All right. Next thing. Do you have a pair of muds or mucks?
Yes.
Oh, really? Which brand?
I'm a girl. Come on.
What brand do you have?
Shop. I don't know. It's white.
Where'd you get them from?
She's got boots on right now.
Amazon.
You got, okay. But they're like neoprene, like.
Well, they're
high.
No, they're stylish, dude.
Okay, so
does your wife wear those?
Yeah, she does.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
So, anyways, if you don't have,
and it's weather. I mean, it's wet proof and all that.
So those
stuff.
mucks and muds, I get in trouble because my wife's like, you can't wear those to dinner. I'm like, watch me.
Yeah,
hold my
you
beer.
can.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, those neoprene ones that are really high,
they are amazing.
You can slip into them. They're insulated. They're warm. They're comfortable.
They're freaking waterproof.
Yeah, you run outside. There's no seams. They're amazing. They save you in the winter up here.
Yeah. I also have rain boots, which I love, and I've been wearing them when it's raining. Like it's going to rain this whole next week.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Comes the rain.
I'm ready. I love it.
My wife she found these boots that they have this piece on the bottom that flips over and it's got metal studs on it.
Oh yeah.
So like when you go into a business, you don't want to be a jerk and walk in there with your studs. You flip them over, and they're normal boots. They're genius.
That's pretty cool.
I can't remember the brand. I got to look it up, but yeah, I was like, holy crap, that's freaking amazing.
I like
super
that.
smart.
Yeah.
Because I've got these little slip-on like studded. Like if I'm out walking on the trail and it's icy, I'll slip on those studded little things over the top of my boots. But those are freaking genius.
Yeah. Amazon has everything.
I did go sliding down Atlas on duty one day.
That'd be embarrassing.
Walking.
Yeah.
We had an 18-wheeler that was stuck there, and I went to go walk and full on, like all the way down.
Not stopping.
Yeah. What else? What else for winter?
I'm gonna get earmuffs.
Oh,
what about a beanie? You don't want to mess with the hair?
I have so many beanies.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I also
she
even
looks
have,
like a beanie girl.
Yeah, I can see that.
and I have one of those fur.
Yes.
flaps.
Yes.
I bought one of those black leather, so it's and it's furry and so it feels great.
Okay. Do you have any heated gloves or anything?
I don't have heated gloves.
My wife got those, and she really liked them. She loved having the heated gloves. Her fingers get so cold.
Yeah. I think Costco has some right now.
Oh yeah,
for sale
Costco
for women.
I
have the smallest fingers.
Do you have a down puffy jacket?
I have so many jackets.
Okay, all right. That's critical. You have to have a black down puffy jacket to fit in up here.
Yes. You just want your feet warm and dry. You don't want it cold, and then I think you'll be fine. And then just layer.
When we moved up here, my wife got battery powered socks and gloves.
Whoa.
Yeah. The problem, the battery pack on the socks was like too big, and she couldn't fit her boots over it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she no longer wears them.
It would be uncomfortable, I would think.
It was kind of ridiculous. But I was like, just do it if that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Go for it. She doesn't wear them anymore.
You know what the funniest thing, one of my favorite things that I have a really, really thin, I mean, it's like literally just the exterior, a really, really thin North Face waterproof, like a shell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, as thin as it can be, right? You can ball that thing up this big. I put that on over a sweatshirt. That is probably my most comfortable, warmest wear. Just having a sweatshirt and then having that little thing, it holds in the heat. Oh my gosh.
And well, it's a windbreaker, so it doesn't. Oh yeah. The wind doesn't go through it.
Exactly. It is. And I mean, I go out and I'm like, whoa, it gets warm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Dave actually starts wearing pants at some point in the wintertime.
I am.
Pretty awesome.
But I'm still,
You mean long johns?
No, actually just not shorts.
Yeah, I'm wearing jeans right now.
So we're there.
So these are my jeans. I got to show you the picture.
The time of year.
Let's see if I can pull up the picture of the jeans I'm wearing right now. I sent it to Renee. So I've been wearing these jeans and I just can't get rid of them. And she is like,
is this the one with the hole in the crotch?
Yeah, she bought me. She made me get some new ones, but the truth is, like, when you,
it's very awkward.
This is what I'm sitting here with. That's what I'm sitting here with right now.
Come on.
I know them well. I've seen that view.
You can see that on the camera.
If I was her, I'd go, gone.
No,
or put a patch on it.
Listen, they're Levi 511s, and I cannot find. I find them, but they don't have the same like cotton to elasticity, and they don't. I like these.
I know you find that perfect pair. You just can't stop.
Wearing underwear.
Yeah,
who cares? Yeah, I mean it's airy down there.
He was in the lake this morning. There's nothing to see.
Not afterwards, that's for sure. I mean, that's like there's a transition that happens.
Yeah.
When you go in the lake and it's cold.
Yeah.
And another thing with women is I think we also love scarves. So I have tons of pashminas and scarves.
Oh, really?
Keeping your neck warm.
I think it's probably a great idea. I'm just too heterosexual to wear a scarf.
Yeah, that's why I said women.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, those dudes will wear them.
Oh, I know.
They usually have skinny jeans on. And
Trey Kennedy's always doing his skits with scarves on.
Is he?
Yeah, that's funny. It's usually when he's imitating a girl, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, my wife's a big scarf fan too.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a big blanket on you.
Yeah, because if you can't grow a beard, then you got to have something.
I have a hard time in the winter here when I go out like snowshoeing or I go out hiking or anything else and I get sweaty. you have to be like so slow when you do stuff in the winter. Because if you get sweaty and you refreeze, oh my gosh,
you're gonna wreck your day.
It's the worst. So the number one thing to have out here, if you hike at all or go outside, is having a good pair of boots. I think we talked about this on our hunting podcast.
Yeah.
In hunting, like people will spend tons of money on the Kuiu and all the cool like camo and everything else, but a good pair of boots out here will save your life in the winter. Yeah. Especially if you want to go out to Farragut State Park, you want to go hiking anywhere, you walk Tubbs Hill, and your feet will just freeze. Oh, Will Rhodes.
He will.
Call you back.
He will.
I was supposed to turn that off.
Yeah, you are.
Apologize.
That's right. Yeah, boots, man. I've got multiple pairs depending on the situation.
Yeah.
I actually need to get some
I don't
boots
have for hiking, so I need to look into that.
Yeah, something insulated and waterproof.
Yeah.
So, Truc, what's your absolute, what, I mean, you moved up here. What's your advice to people that are moving up here? Like, is this something that, you know, obviously you're getting more of a lay of the land and everything else, but what's your biggest takeaway from moving to North Idaho? I know you said the people are nice. I mean, everything else. What's your biggest takeaway?
Biggest takeaway is just know you and know where you want to be.
Yeah.
You know, for the rest of your life. You know, like I said, I wanted to be in a conservative state, a red state. And, you know, and I got to tell you, everybody goes, oh, it's so beautiful. And everywhere I actually have lived is beautiful. I mean, Laguna Beach was beautiful and everything. You know, you can find beauty anywhere. And it not saying Coeur d'Alene is not beautiful, but I just think if your mindset is right, it would be a great move to move up here. If this is what you want in your life, is a conservative state, right? Common sense, where your money goes a little bit further.
You haven't hung out with Seth and I very often.
I have. That's why I'm
here. A little common sense we have sometimes. We'll be like, whiskey's bad for you. You want a drink?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's more that, like I said, I think it's more of an emotional, spiritual guidance to be up here. Yeah. More than anything else.
Have you started going to church up here?
I found one and I forgot the name of it. It's, I know. It's on, I forgot the name of it.
Where's it at? Do you know how to get there? Near here.
It's off Prairie. So it's across the fairgrounds from off Prairie and the 95. And it's like next to a movie theater. I think it's called One Church.
Oh, One Place.
One Place.
One Place. We were just there last week.
Yeah. So I've gone there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hip hop church, man. There's a lot of, it's growing pretty quick.
The worship is good.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a good band in there. That's been, we went there. Our kids go there for like youth group and stuff. They're a very active youth group. But yeah, good church.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. That's one of them that we have on our website. If you go to our website, yournorthidahoagent.com, we have a section in there where we added in churches. It's not all of them, but it's ones that we've been to and ones that, you know, you got Real Life on there. You got One Place, you got The Cause, you got Anthem.
What's your favorite?
Well, we go to Anthem. Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anthem is actually the Boys and Girls Club off of 15th Street.
Okay.
And
why do you like that?
Well, we started there because Jacob Maxwell is a local. He was on The Voice. I don't know if you've ever watched The Voice. Yeah. Well, he made it to like the top 5 on The Voice.
Really?
And it was before we moved up here. And so we were watching, Jacob from Coeur d'Alene. Found out he was the worship leader at that time. Oh. He's not the worship leader there anymore, but he was the worship leader at the time. And Carson wanted to go see him sing. So that's how we ended up there.
Okay.
And we've really liked it just because it's a little more straight biblically based. It is, I'm really happy with our lead pastor, Chris Laurie there. He's very good at not being political, which I think there's enough political influence up here that I like to go to church and not have a political bias on either side. I like to go there and focus on what I want to focus on. And then also it's just very community based. Like it's a smaller church. I'd say we average about 250 to 280.
Oh.
You know, I walk in there, I feel very comfortable because it's, even though I don't hang out with all those people all the time, it definitely feels like home. Like I want to go on Sundays. Okay. I want to see everybody.
Yeah.
I like
I haven't found that yet.
Yeah. And I like the way that Chris delivers that message. Like I said, he's the type of guy. I was here for 3 months and all of a sudden I got a call from him. He's like, "Hey, this is Chris." He's like, "You want to grab lunch?" I'm like, "But let's go." And he's the same guy on stage as he is in person, which is huge for me. And it's not to put a negative rub on any pastors or anything else, but there's a lot of people that there is a little bit of
personality.
Yeah. And there's a change from when you're on stage talking to hundreds of people versus in person.
Yeah.
I've never felt that with Chris. And that's been something that I value so much, to be like, man, I really, and I never feel like, he's just, he really doesn't play a line one side or the other. He's very good at delivering the message and saying, hey, this is what it says. Like, here's the interpretation. You need to take it. And
so he lets you decide.
100%.
He just guides you a little bit and gives you the options. Then you decide.
Unbelievably humble too.
Okay.
Unbelievably humble for people. I mean, I think there's a little ego that goes into anything.
Yeah.
When, you're the man, and he's just phenomenal at keeping that completely at bay.
What about you?
I do not currently go to church.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to get him to come with us sometime.
Dave and I talk about it a lot.
Yeah. I'd like him to come.
I will go with you. Yeah. 100%.
I've just had such bad experiences in churches in Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
One of the 3 guys I was engaged to, I met at a church, and he was a leader, and it just put a bad taste in my mouth.
I get it. I
knew the back end sort of the church crew and everything. And so, a lot of my friends here are like, come with me to church. And I said, okay. But I think also you don't have to go to church to be a Christian.
Yeah.
God's with you no matter what. If he's in your heart, he's in your heart forever.
100%.
And so, but I would like to find a church.
Yeah.
So I'm still looking.
Well, you can come with us sometime.
Okay.
And I'll tell you this, it's one of those things where, I definitely wasn't putting Chris on a pedestal, and that's why I'm saying this, is because he's a normal guy. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like. In fact, most of the pastors that we have there, normal guys, like normal gals. Angela was just there. She was one of our pastors. She stepped down, but having these people, I think, is really cool, because I tell people about this church all the time. I get really nervous when I go to a church and everybody's so in love with a figure there, right? One person or one thing. They're like, oh my gosh, like I want to, and I'm like, man, don't put people on pedestals. If you're going to church, if you're a Christian, you go to church, the only person on a pedestal should be Jesus. Like outside of that, if I put Seth on a pedestal, you on a pedestal, you put me on one, anything else, we're going to let each other down. That's just human nature. That's why we're there.
Yeah.
It's because we're not perfect.
Right.
In fact, we're pretty shitty, to be honest. And so to be able to see, like I just talked about church, and I said shitty. See, so this
you're a real dude.
Well, we're sinners.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is to be able to go in there and be like, hey, look, like it's definitely decreased my judgment on people, especially at the church that I'm at, and just through life, the past 5-6 years, just to realize, like, hey, man, what if you want to go the right direction? I'm there to support you. If you're not, then do your thing.
I greatly appreciate having your viewpoint on moving here and like the thoughts that go into it. Cause we have this conversation with people all the time, but I always feel, and I try to tell people like, listen, I'm not trying to sell you a house. I'm just giving you information, right? Like we will never come off like that. But I always feel like in the back of their mind, like, well, that's your job, right?
Well, if you buy a $5 million house, we're excited. Like, right,
100%, right? Like, yes, that's how we feed our families.
We're not going to give that person more attention versus a $300,000 sale. It's like, hey, if we're working with you, then
and we're always going to tell you the truth about the area, and then you can make your own decision. Like, if you don't move here, fine. I don't care.
I've never felt pressure from you guys.
Yeah,
ever. When you guys welcomed me like everybody else, and just I told you my story. And I said, I'm moving here at this time, I'll be ready this time. You're like, fine. And then since then, you guys have just been like, anytime I need something, you guys were my first go-to. It's like, I need to find a dentist.
That's cool.
I need to find this.
I have a dentist for you, by the way. I saw your post.
Yeah. I said, where's prime rib? And you guys were on it. I mean, you guys didn't even pressure me with anything about real estate or anything. I'm not saying that you guys aren't great at what you do, but you guys are my realtors. So.
Thank you.
Well, one of us is a little better.
We're gonna have to Rochambeau over there.
I don't know. Someone's closing that he brought the buyer for, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm sending you a dentist right now.
Okay.
I'm sending you Alexis. She owns Kootenai Family Dental.
Okay.
And one of her husbands, her husband actually works with us. I didn't realize she does dental, but she's freaking awesome. So I'll send that to you.
We had dinner at their house the other day. Cool people.
Okay.
But so it's nice. It's like nice to get your perspective on it.
Yeah.
So, unrelated party that people can hear and know that like you have no reason to not tell the truth. So it's good because these are common questions for people. A lot of people are out there and their heart's in the right place. They want to make the move. It's overwhelming, especially if you have kids and in your jobs and you're like, how do I do this? So it's just nice to hear that perspective. And like, it is hard. Yeah. We all did it.
Yeah.
We help people do it all the time. So,
Yes.
you know, if you have questions like that, like we're a pretty good resource for kind of understanding the process and maybe helping ease
Yes.
the nerves a little bit.
Moving sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stressful. I was stressed.
But look, guaranteed to lose 7 pounds if you move here. So,
and if you want Truc's number, we won't post it online, but if you want to talk to Truc, give us a call and we'll get you in contact with her. Maybe we'll give her your number and let her
let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. We don't need weirdos calling her.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some dudes like, what? She's single? What?
Oh,
all right.
Well, I am.
They're done. She said it.
Yeah, but you're going to have to get vetted through us first. So.
Yes. My big brothers. You know it.
Cool. Well, let's wrap it up. Thank you, Truc. I really appreciate you coming on. This was super fun. You have a great energy about you, and we appreciate that.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
You got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See ya.